release of Venom, the first adaptation as a standalone movie, it is fair to say that it came as a surprise, and Tom Hardy's portrayal of the characters was without a doubt phenomenal. So with the Venom 2 coming out, news have been everywhere about what it is going to be about and where it will take us. And today, we're going to talk about just that. So sit back and enjoy as we take a first look into the second installment. Venom Summary. Before we move forward, we take a short break and talk about the first one and what were the key elements which fast-tracked the sequel to be out and released sooner than expected. The first Venom movie was kind of like a lovable mess, and Tom Hardy managed to bring his comedic performance to match the whole plot. And the storyline the movie wanted to follow and also the huge box office success cannot be ignored, making a strong case for a second installment of the franchise. One of the most asked questions, however, was, will the second one connect with Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe? And what kind of plot will we get if Venom's arch-nemesis, Spider-Man, is not involved in it whatsoever? However, the post-credit scene from the first movie was probably enough for all of us to know what is coming. Carnage in all its forms, but more on that later. Venom 2 Director. With the success of the first movie, no one thought there would be any changes regarding the crew behind the masterpiece. But with Ruben Fleischer being busy making Zombieland 2, an actor turned director, and that person is Andy Serkis, he's the one who the symbiote founds its host in. He won the race beating Rupert Wyatt, the director of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and Travis Knight, the director of Bumblebee. Joining him will be Robert Richardson, an Oscar-winning cinematographer who recently teamed up with Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And knowing that Serkis has a lot of experience with the motion picture and animation techniques are both elements that suggest we might get an even bigger showing of imaginative and visually arresting take on the CGI symbiote. The star and executive producer Hardy will also play a big part in the creative direction of the movie, and also in the script as well, as he has been involved with the writing too. Venom 2 release date. Before we move on, we're happy to announce that there is an official title of the movie. The title of the second movie, previously known as Venom 2, now has an official name. It's the last words said in the post-credit scene. If you can remember them, then you know what we're talking about. The official title of the sequel is Venom, There Be Carnage. As per usual in the movie industry, the sequel was delayed from the first release date announced, which was October 2nd, 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Venom 2 will be out before Jared Leto's Morbius, and for now the date set for the release is set for June the 25th, 2021. Filming started back in November 2019, and according to resources it finished in April 2020. So if there is nothing major happening in the world, there should be no more delays. On the other hand, Serkis says that despite the delays, which are always a bad thing, he saw them as a positive side for the movie as a project, as even though he was forced to go back to the States and do the editing remotely, it gave him even more time to spend on visual effects and fine-tune all the small details so the movie can be perfect. Venom 2 Trailer. While yes, we got an official title of the movie, there still hasn't been any footage or on-set photos from the movie. For Venom, the trailer was released very early, almost 7 months before the movie came out in October 2018. There is still not an official one for the sequel. But as time goes by, we should get one very soon. So be on the lookout. The only thing we have right now is the ever so dramatic teaser from which we got to see the logo of the movie. Venom 2 crossovers. The long, let's say, feud between Sony and Marvel is over, since they're no longer splitting apart over Spider-Man. So at some point, we should expect for Venom and Spider-Man to end up together in the future, since they are one of the well-known arch-nemeses. According to resources, Sony supposedly wants to integrate Spider-Man into their universe at some point. So in this movie, we might actually get a cameo from Spider-Man, but it is still not certain. And it might not be the Tom Holland Spider-Man who we know from the Marvel movies, but rather Spidey from an alternate universe. On the other hand, leaked casting details show that Tom Holland will have some kind of cameo in the movie. There's also a possibility for yet another crossover in the sequel. And that is with the upcoming Morbius movie, which is part of the same universe. Venom 2 Cast. As for the cast, it was pretty much given that Tom Hardy is back as Eddie Brock. It would not be a Venom movie without him. His ex-wife, Anne Weying, is coming back, portrayed by Michelle Williams after her Yahoo confirmation in the likes of I'm In. High hopes are at stake for her to get more screen time as She-Venom. New addition to the cast is likely to be Naomie Harris, playing the role of Shriek, Tom's colleague. Stephen Graham is also joining the cast, however, we still don't know his role as of yet. The first glimpse of Woody Harrelson's Cletus Kasady was enough for us to know who'll be the different kind of symbiote. Carnage on the big screen, and the Killing Eve star Sean Delaney has confirmed that he'll have a little screen time in the sequel too. We could also expect Reid Scott portraying the role of Dr. Dan to be a saint at least one more and help Eddie's adventures. Outside of these cast members, there hasn't been anything concrete from Sony, but if we take in consideration the series of superhero movies in the pipeline, there's a possibility we see Jared Leto's Morbius having a cameo, and possible appearances by Silver Sable, Silk, Night Witch, Black Cat, Jackpot, or any other ally or villain of Venom's universe. After Marvel's boss Kevin Feige talking about the likeliness of both Venom and Spider-Man coming together at some point, we might be seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the post-credit scene, maybe. After the collision, we expect from the third Spider-Man movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, everything is possible, right? Venom 2 plot. Surprisingly enough, there's little to nothing about the plot outside of some concrete theories when all details are taken in as evidence, but there have been a lot of hints towards it. So let's dive into all the details and resources given to us. Starting off with Serkis' confirmation that the movie will be an extraordinary piece of cinema, with the main goal being the visuals and how the characters can be taken to another dimension on a higher level. Matt Tomlich, the producer of both movies, said in an interview that the main focus of the movie will be the relationship between Eddie and Venom, and respectively enough, the heart of the first movie was always the relationship between the two. So they want to delve deeper into it and make the most of it, and we might finally see the bond between the two strengthen and learn to live with one another, and how they're better off together than on their own. The end of the first movie has shown Venom's offspring symbiote, the ever-so-bloody Carnage, coming to the big screen. However, even his arrival will not make the movie R-rated, because after all, from the comics we can see that Carnage is a tortured soul, and the sequel will probably focus on the motivation behind his rage, and not how he's manifesting it. While we are at it knowing that Tom Hardy has signed a 3-piece contract, a third installment of the franchise becomes a high possibility. So there's that. On a related note, tell us how will Woody fit with Carnage and why in the comments below, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.